Hey guys, it's me Harsh and welcome back to my channel Baking Vibes. Today I will be showing you how to make a butterscotch cake. I have already shown you how to make my caramel sauce, for which you can click up here and watch it and make it for yourselves. If you want, you can also use any cake such as a vanilla cake, even a white cake, and that's what I'm using today. If you want to see the video, you can click up here and watch it right now. Now without any further ado, let's get started. The ingredients that you will require to make our butterscotch praline are half a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of chopped almonds. If you don't want to use almonds, you can always use cashew nuts instead. And you will also require 1 tablespoon of softened butter. So the first step towards making our butterscotch praline is to take a steel plate. I'm using a stainless steel plate, and I would suggest that you guys should also take a metal plate or a steel plate, because that is the safest option here with the hot temperatures of the praline. So on this plate we will add some melted ghee. If you want, you can also use butter instead. Now this is just to grease our plate and so that our praline does not stick on it. If you want, you can also use any plain surface like a chopping board, your kitchen countertop. Just grease it properly with melted butter or ghee. And once that is done, we will set it aside and start making a praline. To make a praline, take a saucepan. You can use a heavy bottom saucepan like I am using today, and then place your sugar in one single layer. And if you want, then just shake your pan so that it comes into a even layer, and then keep your pan on medium heat. Now we want the sugar to melt, and you cannot just swirl your pan right now or use a spatula or a whisk to just mix it, because then your sugar will crystallize and it won't caramelize properly. So we will just wait for it to melt for some time and then start swirling it a little bit, and once it starts melting even more, then we can start mixing it with a small whisk or a rubber spatula. The sugar is all completely melted and has this nice amber color, which means that your caramel is ready. Turn your flame to low and then add in your butter to this. This will bubble rapidly, but don't worry, this is something which is supposed to happen. Once the butter is completely melted and mixed in, you can increase the flame a little bit. Now as you can see, the butter is also completely mixed in with the caramel, and now we are ready to add in the almonds or cashews, whichever nuts you are using. But remember that this time you have to work very fast, because then the praline will start setting very quickly. So now the caramel has almost come to a boil. I will turn the flame off. I don't want it to be boiling anymore. I will quickly add in my chopped nuts, mix them in completely, and then when the bubbling stops a little bit, as it has right now, we will quickly transfer it to our greased steel plate. Just spread this a little bit into a little like thin layer like this, and then just leave it like this in room temperature for about a few minutes, so that the praline has some time to set completely. So it has been about 5 to 10 minutes and the praline is properly set, as you can hear it. So now using a knife, we will just try to break it from the plate a little bit. It is just fine if it breaks into pieces like this, because finally we are going to crush it. Now as you can see, all of the praline is broken into these pieces. And now if you want, you can reserve some of these pieces or break some bigger ones into smaller ones for the decoration on top, but I am not doing that. I will be adding all of them into a Ziploc bag. If you don't have a Ziploc bag, then you can also use a piping bag for this. And then just close your bag, and then using a rolling pin we will just smash this so that they break into smaller and smaller pieces. After crushing the praline, it has turned into a nice crumble, and now I will just take it out into a bowl so that it is easier for me to work with it. And our praline is ready. Now we will make a butterscotch icing for our filling of the cake. So for that I am using about 2 dollops of whipped cream. If you want, you can also use buttercream instead. Just add a little bit according to the size of your cake in a bowl, and then to that we will add in about 2 tablespoons or 4 tablespoons according to your taste of caramel sauce that we had already prepared. Make sure that your caramel sauce is completely cooled so that it does not melt your frosting in any way. And now using a whisk, we will just combine both of these ingredients together so that we get a beautiful butterscotch icing. So here I have a 6-inch round white cake, and I have already leveled the top so that it is completely in one flat layer. And now I will divide this whole cake into 3 equal layers. So if you are very intimidated by doing it, then what you can do is use a ruler and measure the height of your cake and then divide it equally into 3 layers. I have one of the layers on a cake stand. If you want, you can also use a cake board, and then apply some simple syrup on top of the cake layer. I would suggest to add it at the same time to all of the cake layers if you want. That will make your work easy too, and this will just help to keep our cake nice and moist when we keep it in the refrigerator. So now onto our cake layer we will add some of our butterscotch icing that we had prepared, and then we will spread it using an offset spatula. And once we have an even layer of a butterscotch icing on top of one of our cake layers, we will add in some of our butterscotch praline on top. We will gently pat down the praline into the icing and then continue making our layers like this. Make sure that all your cake layers have aligned properly, and then use the same offset spatula and then just clean the edges of your cake. Now this will only act as our crumb coat, and then we will keep this in the fridge for about 5 minutes. Now that our cake has got time to set in the fridge for some time, we will now cover it with some icing. I have dyed my whipped cream in a little light shade of yellow so that it matches our butterscotch cake. I am using a long straight spatula for icing the cake. Here I have a cake comb, and I will use the smaller end to make a design on the side. And after you have used your cake comb, now you will smooth the edges on the top. Now on the lower half of the sides of a cake, I will apply some of the praline. Once you have praline on the lower half of your cake, now we will make a shell border on the bottom. For that, in a piping bag, I have the same yellow whipped cream along with a small star nozzle. And once you have piped your border, now we will add some caramel sauce. I have some caramel sauce in a piping bag which I have thinned it out using a little bit of water. Now before we start covering the top of the cake with caramel, I will make a few drips on the side of the cake. And now once we have that, we will cover the top. For that, what I will do is make a spiral with a caramel sauce from the center till the end with very close rings. And now by using a straight small spatula, we will just smooth this out into an even layer. And once we have smoothed the caramel on top, we will finally make our swirls. For that, again I have the same yellow whipped cream with a large star nozzle this time. Hope you liked my butterscotch cake recipe, and if you did, then don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel for more such wonderful recipes. I will see you guys soon. Until then, keep baking and stay happy.